On tap, Speedway Stout.
Better beer authority, better beer.
Hi, I'm Richard Hartogs, and this is your Better Beer Authority. Today we're reviewing AleSmith Speedway Stout. AleSmith Brewing Company from San Diego, California was recently named RateBeer.com's #1 brewery in the world. I've had the pleasure of visiting their tasting room 2 times and highly recommend it. Speedway Stout uses locally roasted coffee from Ryan Brothers, along with chocolate and roasted malts to help smooth out this 12% 70 IBU elixir. AleSmith releases special variants of Speedway, such as bourbon barrel aged, Kopi Luwak, Vietnamese coffee, and Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, along with some others. All are highly recommended. Let's see what the panel thinks of this flagship version. Let the blind taste test begin. Dave, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not bad. Tell me about the aroma of this beer, and does the aroma match the taste that you're getting?
Aroma-wise, I can definitely pick up a lot of dark chocolate. When we're talking like completely unsweetened, just dark, bitter chocolate, and definitely coffee as well, just freshly roasted coffee. And I mean, the smell and the taste definitely do match. I mean, you taste that, and I feel like I just bit into like freshly roasted coffee beans. I mean, you just really get that, and it just stays on your tongue, just grips onto it, and just doesn't let go. So definitely, it's a good taste. Definitely a good taste.
Yeah, it certainly lingers. Mark, take us deeper into this beer. Tell me a few of the things that are really sticking out.
Totally agree. I get a ton of chocolate, I think. I do get some coffee as well, but I think the predominant flavor for me is, I'd say, a dark, bittersweet chocolate. And then the other thing that really stands out is kind of the creaminess in the mouthfeel. And I think that's part of the thickness that's coating and is providing a lot of the lingering flavors that I think we're all responding to. This really sits on the tongue for quite a while. And pleasantly, it's not an unpleasant mouthfeel. But those are the 2 things that really stand out, I think.
All right, I'm going to do a follow-up question for you then, which I just thought of. How do you think they imparted the chocolate taste that you're getting in this beer? I'm not telling you what kind of beer it is, but how do you think?
I don't think this is just from malts. I don't think it's just roasted malts or black malts, for example. I think they probably add chocolate bar or some sort of, not extract, but like actual bittersweet chocolate, maybe like 60% cocoa.
If I told you it was 78% cocoa, what would you? Which I don't know, actually.
I would believe you.
Actually, to be honest.
No, but not like the crazy bitter chocolate.
There is no chocolate additions in this beer from what I read from it.
Okay.
I think it is the malts, but it kind of wanted to see what people
extra
would
charred.
think.
So it's a hell of a malt bill.
Yeah. And Andrew, what do you think the ABV and the IBUs are? Are you finding this beer smooth or harsh? Any combination for certain reasons?
I am kind of getting smooth and harsh in different areas. Smooth, like the mouthfeel of it, it just coats the mouth really nicely. In that area, it's smooth. But then when I take a swallow, it's harsh in a good way. And I don't want to say it's a bad thing because it's almost like a harsh slight warming feeling down. If I had to guess with like an ABV, I would imagine this probably somewhere at least a 9%, if not higher. IBU-wise, I'm gonna probably say, probably in like the 50 to 60 range.
Okay. All right. Well, you're slightly lower on them. Your guess is 12 and 70, respectively.
Jeez.
So not. I'll take that. So it was a conservative. It was a conservative guess.
Your IPAs, your IBUs were decent because these type of beers have a lot of bittering additions. Dave, today's the summer solstice, so I decided to take a beer that's not really a summer beer. But do you think this is a suitable beer for the dog days of summer? And give me your rating on why.
I'm going to go ahead and, I was thinking of giving this an 8, but I'm torn because I mean it's a very good beer. I'm enjoying it, obviously. But at the same time, the one thing that I'm not partial to, and I kind of made this comment on Everett, is the fact that it lingers there a little bit too much, and I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, yes, I expect an aftertaste, but if I'm done drinking right now, I can probably feel that taste for the next half hour still. I'm like, I don't like that. But you know what? Fuck it. I'll give it a 9. It's a good beer. No, because besides that, that's like the only bad point that I can say about it. Everything else, you said, hey, this is like chocolate and coffee, but no, there's none of that in there. This is just really well-made beer. So hey, I'm gonna give it the rating that it deserves. So I'll give it a 9.
I said there's no chocolate in it.
Exactly. I said no chocolate. So I mean, I was like, well, how can you get so much chocolate out of it when there's none? So it's like, what are you doing? So would I recommend it? Dog's Day of Summers, yeah, sure, I would, but I would recommend this anytime, just really.
See, I'm just going to say here, if I were to have something like this in the middle of summer, this would be the last beer that I have at night. When it's dark, I'm winding down for the day, and it's a little bit cooler out. I would definitely not have this, 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the sun beating down over me.
Why don't you continue and give me your rating on that point, because I was going to ask you a similar question also.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I mean, with me as well, this is a 9. I think it's fantastic. The lingering effect that David talked about, he's not a fan of. I enjoy that. I like that, especially for a beer like this. It leaves a good, that's almost where I get the coffee from a little bit. It's almost a big coffee aftertaste in my mouth, dark, bitterness. Definitely, like I said, the chocolate taste as well is where I get, a lot of the taste, but the coffee kind of takes over a little bit at the end, at least what I'm picking up from it. This is absolutely fantastic beer.
Mark, you want to take a stab at what you think this beer is after you give me your rating on why?
The style or the actual beer?
Give me a rating on why, and then tell me what style, and if you want to take a wild guess at what beer it is, by all means.
Yeah. Okay. So my rating is an 8, but I'm definitely on the fence between an 8 and a 9, and if I could give it a half or even a quarter, I would say 8.5, 8.75. But I'm gonna stick with an 8. That's what I went with first, and I think we kind of maybe round out so we're not all scoring exactly the same here. But
that's not a problem.
So it's a great beer. It's even more impressive that you bring up it's 12%, and that they don't use any chocolate actually in the brewing process. I think it's an Imperial Stout. I'd say it's probably an American Imperial Stout. And if I had to guess, I'm going to say Founders Imperial Stout.
Well, I'll tell you right now, since we've already done Founders Imperial Stout on the show, that it's not.
Okay.
I don't know if any of you guys want to take a guess.
I want to take a guess.
All right, go for it.
I think this is Speedway.
I think it's a Speedway?
Because it has to be. You gave me that bottle once, and then I sat on it for long enough.
That's true.
I killed that thing like that.
It could be Speedway, or it could be a variant of Speedway, because I don't remember Speedway, and it's been about a year or so for me. It could be one of the variants, but that's a good. I'm not going to take a guess, but I have to say that it's a good guess for David.
I mean, that was like 6 months ago.
Dave went all out. He guessed right.
All right.
It is Speedway Stout from AleSmith.
That's awesome.
Our friend Crafty Beer Reviews, Jonathan McBride, I did a trade with him to get these bottles. He's actually in Cleveland area where they get it. We don't get it in Washington, D.C. yet. So he sent them to me. They're probably about 6 months old.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And they say you can age the beer for years to come. So we were supposed to review it about a month ago, and I sat on it to review something else.
Yeah, it's great beer.
So you've, okay, I was going to say, have you had this before? You have. Mm-hmm. How do you compare this to other coffee stouts? Because there is a lot of coffee in this beer.
Oh, so there is coffee. Okay, so lie to me.
No, I said there was no chocolate.
I
said there was no chocolate.
Yeah.
No, okay. But I mean, that being said, I mentioned before. I mean, I am a fan of coffee stouts. Great Divide, Espresso, Yeti. I definitely enjoy that a lot. I've had a Bell's Java Stout, which I really am a big fan of. And but this, I mean, if we're say, what's the king of coffee stouts? I mean, this would be at least the queen.
I like it.
Okay, look, you know, if I had this, if it was available to me and I could get it all the time, and then I'll get a little more customized to it, then I'll be like, oh my God, this is my number one beer, number one stout. But probably, you know, I'll say this is a 10. But the problem is that I've only had it twice now. And I remember when I had it the first time. That's the reason why it really stuck out to me. The first time I had it was when Andrew brought it to me, and I was like, I sat on it for a couple months, and then I said, oh, screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. I drank it all, and I was like, wow, you know, it was a bad decision. My head hurt the next day, but you know, I was like, oh, you know, it was a great memory. But
that brings me to my question to Mark. I'm sitting here thinking, so did Dave pass out on the floor, or my question was, do you think you could feel the caffeine hit you? Yeah. So do you think Dave passed out on the floor, or it was actually kind of wired from the caffeine? Can you feel a lot of caffeine from beer?
I personally can, and especially I think when you get in this high ABV, you're getting 10+%. If there is some caffeine in there, I think it's going to be overwhelmed by the sedative effects of alcohol. But yeah, I mean theoretically, if they add a lot of coffee, there might be some balancing effects, and this is what Four Loko was going for, right? So this is the Four Loko for the craft beer community here. So
much better than the Four Loko.
I don't know if the guys who take the time to brew this would agree with that.
No, I mean the best possible way, as a way to
masked out.
To balance the caffeine stimulant effects with
I get almost no alcohol heat at a 12% beer, and
it's really impressive.
That's awesome. It's deadly. Yeah. Andrew, let's finish with you.
All right.
What are your final thoughts? I mean, if this was in our area, how often would you buy this?
I would definitely have it more often. What was that?
He said we'd never see you.
Probably not. Honestly, I would have this more often. I am lucky enough that I have family back in Ohio, so when I do go and visit, I mean, this as well as many other of their beers are available to me. So I have had this in the past. I would definitely get this more often because last time I had it was last year at your bottle share event at yours and for you with you and David put together, and yeah, I was floored. I thought it was phenomenal.
That was just me.
He was there. I think you hosted it. But yeah, I love this beer, and it's definitely something that would certainly go after much more often if we had it readily available to us.
Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. AleSmith Speedway Stout gets an 8.7 on the BBA scale. Have you had this before? Have you had any of their variants? What's your favorite coffee stout or coffee beer for that matter? I'm Richard Hartogs, and this is your Better Beer Authority.
Better Beer Authority. Better Beer Authority.